Hi, in this video we will look at the 6 trigonometric functions. First, a small note on notation. This little symbol means angle, so we might see angle B or angle A. And this little symbol means triangle, so we might see triangle ABC. Now, the 6 trigonometric functions, they come from dividing any two sides. And with a triangle, you have 3 sides. And so we can divide C by A, C by B, or A by B. That's 3 ways. But we can also divide them backwards. A by C, A by B, and so on. So there is only 6 ways to do the division, and each one of those divisions has a name. And that name is the trigonometric function. So we must remember each one of those 6 names. We must remember what they mean, and that would be one of the main foundations for us during a trigonometry class. So let's look at each one of those 6 functions, and then we'll discuss one of the ways we could remember them. So the first one is called the sine, and the actual name is sine of x, but we abbreviate it as sin of x, and it is the opposite side divided by hypotenuse. The next function is cosine of x, and we abbreviate it as cos of x, and that is the adjacent divided by hypotenuse. The next is tangent of x, and that's the opposite over adjacent. Now these 3 are the main 3 functions, and most of the trigonometry is going to be based on these 3 functions. The other 3 are made up of dividing the sides backwards. So the cosecant of x is 1 divided by sine. And personally, I remember the s in the middle, that is the one that has the sine, 1 divided by sine. And if you look at the sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse, and divide them backwards, you get hypotenuse over opposite. And that's exactly what the cosecant is. Now, the secant is 1 over cosine, and so if we divide the cosine backwards, we'll get hypotenuse over adjacent. The last one is the cotangent, and that is 1 divided by tangent, which is adjacent over opposite. It's very important to remember each one of these pieces of information, because in many situations, knowing that cosecant is the 1 over sine will help us greatly. And secant is 1 over cosine, and cotangent is 1 over tangent, is very, very important. So now that we have all 6 in front of us, we have to put them somehow in our memory. And since these are just mathematical functions, mathematical terms, they do not usually create any connections in our mind. So we have to create our own mnemonic device, some kind of phrase that will help us to associate these names with a phrase. So one way to do it is to simply memorize the first 3 using only the front letters. So the sine, S, opposite hypotenuse, cosine, C, adjacent hypotenuse, tangent, T, opposite adjacent. So we will have 9 letters: S, O, H, C, A, H, T, O, A. Now we just have to remember them and what they mean. So here is one of the many ways to do it. The front letters will spell SOH CAH TOA, which sort of sounds like the SOH CAH TOA. So you might picture yourself putting your big toe in a warm tub of water and soaking it. Or picture whatever else makes sense to you. Now, we might come up with a phrase to remember those first letters as well. So here are some examples just for fun. One of them is: some old hippie caught another hippie teasing old alligator. And that is exactly the same letters: S-O-H, C-A-H, T-O-A, S-O-H, C-A-H, T-O-A. Whatever phrase we can come up with the same letters that makes us happy and makes us remember this information, that's a phrase to use. Now here's another one. Smile over hot chocolate and hope to overcome anything. Focus on, stay on happy circumstances and hope to obtain abundance. That is positive thinking. That's the essence of positive thinking. Concentrate on the positive and the happy things, and the more good things will come to you. And then another one with a hippie. Some old hippie caught another hippie tasting old apples. Whatever else you come up with, just make sure the easiest way to remember, the most effective way to remember, is to picture it as a movie, as if you're watching a movie, and picture yourself in a movie, picture yourself seeing the old hippie, watching a different hippie, teasing an old alligator, and whatever that old alligator does, that's totally up to you. But see it in your own mind's eye, and feel it and smell it and experience the emotion of being in that movie picture, and that will create a much stronger neurological connection in your mind than any different format. So this is better than simply looking at it or making flashcards. The movie picture is scientifically proven to be a much more efficient memory technique than almost anything else. And that is it for this video. If you have any questions on anything, please let me know. Thanks for your time. Take care.